Let me ask you something honest, and I really need you to sit with this question before you answer it, okay? When was the last time a woman you genuinely liked actually chose you back, not because you did everything right, not because you spoiled her, not because you were always available, but because she wanted to? Because something about you made her feel like she'd be crazy to walk away? If that answer is taking a little longer than you'd like to admit, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share with you today might be one of the most important conversations you've had in a long time. I'm Sophia. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I talk about real things, relationship things, the stuff most people are too uncomfortable to say out loud. And today, we're going all in on something that is quietly destroying so many men's love lives, their confidence, and honestly, their sense of self. And the scariest part? Most of you watching this right now don't even know it's happening. We're talking about the behaviors, the everyday, seemingly harmless habits that women pick up on immediately and that slowly, silently cause them to lose respect, lose attraction, and eventually lose interest. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what these patterns look like, why they push women away even when they look like love, and most importantly, what a high-value man does instead. So if you're ready to be honest with yourself today, let's get into it. Sign number 1, you spend money on her before she's given you anything real. Okay, first sign, and I say this with so much love, if you are spending serious money on a woman who hasn't even told you she wants to be with you, you are not courting her, you are sponsoring her. I know that sounds harsh. I genuinely do, because I know the heart behind it. You like her. You want to show her that you're serious, that you can take care of her, that you're not like the other guys. That's beautiful. But the method is what's breaking you. Here's what's actually happening in her mind. When a man constantly throws money at a woman before there's any real commitment, her brain doesn't register it as romance. It registers it as desperation. And I know you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. And I'd rather give you the truth than let you keep funding a situation that isn't going anywhere. Think about it from a different angle. Imagine you had a business partner, and this person keeps showing up with investment money, keeps pouring resources in, time after time, but the business is failing, the return is nothing, and they haven't even confirmed that they're serious about the partnership. What would you think of them? You wouldn't see them as generous. You'd see them as someone who doesn't know their own worth. She's covering her rent to other guys in her DMs while you're covering her dinner tab. She's posting for attention online while you're booking her spa days. And what's she giving back? Her company. That's it. I want you to hear me clearly. Spending on a woman is not wrong. Treating her, surprising her, investing in experiences together, that's all beautiful, and it absolutely has its place. But that place is after she has shown you that she's genuinely choosing you, after the commitment is real, after she's matching your energy in her own way, cooking a meal, showing up for you, expressing genuine gratitude and care. If she's not doing any of that, your wallet should stay closed, not to punish her, but to protect yourself. Because a woman who's truly interested in you doesn't want to feel like she's being purchased. And a woman who lets you purchase her without reciprocating, she already knows exactly what she's doing. Sign number 2, you apologize for things that aren't even your fault. This one. Oh, this one right here is so subtle and so damaging, and it comes from such a genuine place that it's hard to even see it for what it is. You apologize all the time, even when you didn't do anything wrong. There's tension in the conversation, you say sorry. She's upset about something that had nothing to do with you, you say sorry. She misread something you said and blows up, and before she even finishes her sentence, you're already backpedaling and apologizing just to make the discomfort stop. I get it. Conflict feels uncomfortable. Apologizing feels like the fastest way to get back to peace. But what you're actually doing is training her. And what you're training her to believe is that you will absorb the blame for anything that your feelings, your time, your reality, all of it comes second to managing her emotions. And here's where it gets really painful. Women don't respect that. They might feel relieved in the moment the argument stops, the tension lifts, but something shifts underneath. Every time you take blame you don't own, she quietly loses a piece of her respect for you. Because she knows, even if she doesn't say it, she knows when someone is apologizing out of fear rather than genuine accountability. A man who apologizes when he's genuinely wrong, that's emotional maturity. That's strength. That's incredibly attractive. But a man who apologizes just to keep the peace, just to avoid her disappointment, just because she's upset and he can't stand the thought of her being mad at him, that's not love. That is fear dressed up in the language of kindness. The man women are deeply attracted to the one she talks about with her friends. The one she doesn't want to lose is the man who can look at her calmly during a moment of conflict and say, "No, that one's not on me." Not aggressively, not coldly, just firmly. With the quiet confidence of a man who knows who he is. Try it. Next time she accuses you of something you genuinely didn't do or blows something way out of proportion, hold your ground. Stay calm, don't raise your voice, but don't fold either. Watch what happens to the dynamic. I promise you, it will shift. Sign number 3. You defend her even when she's completely out of line. Now, this is one that men almost wear as a badge of pride. And I understand why defending your woman sounds noble. It sounds like loyalty. It sounds like you're a protector. But there is a very important line between defending someone you love and covering for someone's bad behavior. Let me paint a picture. You're out at a restaurant together. The food takes a little longer than expected. She starts getting rude with the waiter snapping, rolling her eyes, speaking to this person like they're beneath her. And instead of quietly leaning over and saying, "Hey, let's be patient," you join in. You back her up. Maybe you even tip poorly to match her energy. Or maybe it's this. She posts a photo online that makes you uncomfortable. Something that's clearly designed to get male attention. And when your friends say something about it, you defend it. She's just confident. Leave her alone. Meanwhile, deep down, you know it bothers you. But you'll die on that hill because you don't want to seem controlling or insecure. Here's what I need you to understand. When you protect a woman from accountability, you are not protecting her, you are protecting yourself from her reaction. You are afraid of what happens if you say, "That's not okay." And that fear is what she senses. That fear is what chips away at her respect for you. Real loyalty is being the person who loves someone enough to tell them the truth. Real loyalty is saying, "I've got your back, and because I've got your back, I need to tell you when you're out of line." That's love. That's partnership. That's the kind of man a woman feels genuinely safe with. But being her permanent defense attorney, no matter what she does, that just tells her she can behave any way she wants, and you'll be right there cheering her on. And she won't admire that. She'll use it. Sign number 4, you chase harder the moment she pulls away. Okay, breathe. Because I know this one is going to hit. She starts going a little quiet. The texts slow down. She's not as warm as she was last week. Maybe she's leaving you on read for hours at a time. And something inside you panics. Your stomach drops. Your mind starts running through everything. Did you say something wrong? Did you do something? Is she losing interest? Is there someone else? And so you reach out, you check in, you double text, you send the "Hey, you good?" message followed quickly by another one because she didn't reply fast enough. You start performing, saying sweeter things, trying harder, showing up more, doing everything you can to pull her back in. And I need you to hear this clearly. That behavior doesn't bring her back. It pushes her further away. Desperation has a smell. I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean that women are deeply attuned to the energy a man is putting out. And when that energy says, "I need your validation to feel okay," she feels it. And it doesn't make her feel loved. It makes her feel like she has all the power. And a man who hands over all of his power before a relationship is even solidified is a man she cannot build her attraction on. Here's the truth about what's happening when she pulls back. Sometimes it genuinely has nothing to do with you. She's stressed, she's in her head, she's dealing with her own life. And the right response to that is to simply live your life too. To trust yourself enough to not spiral at the first sign of distance. But sometimes, and I need you to be honest with yourself here, she is pulling back on purpose. She wants to see what you do. She's watching. Will he crumble and chase? Or will he hold himself together and let me come to him? The man who chases confirms that he needs her. The man who holds his frame, who gives her space, gets back to his own life, his purpose, his goals. That man becomes more attractive in her absence. Not because he's playing games, but because he genuinely doesn't need her constant attention to feel secure. And that is irresistible. Sign number 5, you let her define what you are to each other. This is where a lot of good men silently give up their power. And they do it so quietly, so gradually, that they don't even notice it's happened until they're 3 months deep into a situationship they never agreed to. You're doing everything a boyfriend does. You're protective of her. You're emotionally available. You're consistent. You're loyal. And yet when her friends ask about you, she says, "Oh, we're just talking." And you heard her say it and you let it go because you didn't want to make it awkward, because you didn't want to lose her. Or she says the classic line, "Let's just see where things go." And you nod along, even though deep down, you know exactly where you want things to go. You want a real commitment, a real relationship, a woman who is proud to call you hers. But instead of saying that, instead of leading with clarity, you shrink, you wait, you hope. Here's the thing about hope in that context. Hope is not a strategy. And waiting for her to define you is not patience, it is passivity. Women are drawn to men who know what they want. Not men who demand or control, but men who are clear. Men who can say, without flinching, "I'm not interested in being undefined. If we're building something real, let's call it that. If not, I need to know." That kind of clarity is magnetic. It communicates value. It says, my time matters. My feelings matter. I know who I am and what I deserve. When you let her control the relationship narrative, you are putting her in the driver's seat of your own love life. And she might enjoy that power for a while, but she won't respect it. And eventually, she'll either put you permanently in the just a friend category or keep you as a warm backup while she figures out what she actually wants with someone else. Lead, define things, know your worth. Don't be anyone's placeholder. Sign number 6, you cannot bring yourself to say no to her. I want you to think about the last time a woman asked you for something, your time, your money, your energy, and you said no. Can you remember it? Because if you're struggling to come up with a single example, that's information you need to pay attention to. There's a beautiful thing that happens in relationships when a man has boundaries. When he can say, warmly but firmly, "No, that doesn't work for me right now." It does not push a good woman away. It actually pulls her closer because it tells her that you have a sense of self, that you're not just a vending machine of yes, that you are a full, grounded human being with your own priorities. But when you never say no, when you rearrange your entire schedule at her request, when you swipe your card even though you hesitated, when you cancel plans with people who matter to you just to prove your devotion to her, what you're actually communicating is that you don't value yourself enough to protect your own energy. And if you don't value yourself, how can you expect her to? Women test men. Not always, consciously, sometimes it's completely instinctive, but they do. They push in small ways to see if there's any structure to you, to see if you have a spine. And when you fail that test over and over again by caving to every single request, you become predictable in the worst possible way. She knows she can get anything from you with minimal effort, and what is too easily obtained is rarely truly valued. The next time she asks for something and your gut tells you it's not the right call, honor that. A simple, calm, "I can't do that right now" is enough. You don't owe her an essay of justification. You're allowed to have boundaries. In fact, having them is one of the most important things you can do for both yourself and the health of any relationship you're in. Sign number 7, you start shrinking yourself to keep her comfortable. This one breaks my heart a little because it happens so slowly, so gently. Like water carving through rock, you don't see the damage until one day you look in the mirror and don't quite recognize the man looking back at you. It starts small. You stop going to the gym as much because she made a comment about you always being out. You stop hanging out with your friends as often because she gets anxious when you're not available. You put down a hobby you loved because she didn't share your enthusiasm for it. And it was just easier to let it go. Your goals, your passions, the things that made you you before she came along, they start to quietly disappear, one sacrifice at a time. And here's the tragic irony in all of it. The man she was originally attracted to, that was him. The driven one, the one with ambition and friends and a life that was interesting and full. She was drawn to that energy. And then, in your effort to keep her, you slowly dismantled the very thing she was attracted to in the first place. Compromise is healthy. Every good relationship requires it. But there is a monumental difference between healthy compromise and erasing yourself. When you give up your identity, your sense of purpose, your social world, your personal growth to orbit around a woman, you are not being a devoted partner. You are being a man without a center. And a man without a center cannot lead, cannot inspire, and ultimately cannot sustain real attraction. Keep your life, keep your goals, keep your friendships, Keep the things that make you feel alive. A woman who loves you will be drawn deeper in because of those things, not in spite of them. And if she's threatened by your fullness as a person, that tells you something important that you need to hear. Sign number 8. You put her above yourself every single time without exception. And we've arrived at the last one. And I saved it for last on purpose because this is the one that looks the most like love from the outside and does the most damage on the inside. You put her first, always, without exception, without even thinking about it. She texts you at midnight and you're there. She needs something at the worst possible time and you make it happen. You rearrange your morning, your plans, your sleep, your goals, all of it, because she came first. She always comes first. And you think that's what love looks like. I understand. I really do. But let me gently challenge that belief. When a woman can snap her fingers and you appear when she knows, without a shadow of a doubt, that you will drop everything for her, every single time she doesn't feel cherished. She feels powerful, and not in a good way. She feels like she's dealing with someone who has no sense of their own value, someone she cannot fully respect because he doesn't respect himself. Think about the men in your life, the ones you deeply admire, the ones who seem to have it together. Do they drop everything for anyone at any moment, or do they have a certain groundedness, a certain I'll show up for the people I love and I also have a life of my own kind of energy? That energy is what's attractive. That energy is what creates real respect and real desire. Putting a woman first sometimes when it matters, when it's meaningful, when it's coming from a place of genuine love and not fear is one of the most beautiful things a man can do. But when it's every time at the cost of your own well-being, your own goals, your own dignity, that's not love. That's self-abandonment. And no healthy relationship is built on one person abandoning themselves for the other. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. None of these signs make you a bad man. Not a single one. They make you a man who cares deeply, who feels deeply, and who hasn't yet been taught that the way you were showing that care was quietly working against you. The truth is, the version of you that women respect, the version that creates lasting, real magnetic attraction, is not the version that gives everything away hoping something comes back. It's the version that knows his worth. That has boundaries not because he's cold, but because he values himself. That loves generously, but never out of desperation. That leads with clarity, holds his frame with calm confidence, and doesn't need her approval to feel complete. That man exists inside you right now. He just needs permission to show up. If today's video gave you something to think about, something real, please leave me a comment below. Tell me which sign hit home the most. I read every single one. And if you want to go even deeper into building the kind of confidence that changes how you show up in every area of your life, relationships, career, friendships, everything, make sure you check out the link in the description below. There's something there that I've put a lot of heart into, and I think it could genuinely shift things for you.